Well, good to have you here on a Friday, continuing now with our topic from before the break, FTX and Sam Bankman-Fried. And you have to wonder, why isn't this guy already in jail? And by the way, who would invest money with this guy? He sounds like a cartoon character. I mean, I'm sorry, but come on. Here's some kid with messed up hair and, hey, we're going to go make lots of money. Really? Yeah, here's my life savings. It seems at the very least, he committed massive fraud and at worst funneled illegal money into the American political machine. $40 million to the Democrats. Could it have affected the elections? Maybe. With me now to dive a bit deeper into it all is former Lazard managing director and author of the book, Why America Matters, Michael Wilkerson. Michael, good to have you here. This is just such a strange story. Here's this kid.
Yeah.
And he was, by the way, celebrated. He was the J.P. Morgan of crypto. He was the J.P. Morgan of crypto. They had him everywhere. He was on this show and that show, and he was the expert on this and that. He was the flashy, hot, shiny item, and all of a sudden he is a fraud. And in the cases that I've seen previously in this country, he'd be in jail right now, but somehow he's still in his penthouse in the Bahamas with mom and dad now. The staff is gone, apparently. But why is he still not in jail?
Listening to you speak and listening to him comment and Secretary Yellen, President Biden, reminds me of a song when you and I were growing up, very popular, called by The Verve, that said something like, a bad thing had happened, and like, I can't be held responsible. I was just a freshman. And that seems to be the attitude that not just SBF, but the Biden administration is taking right now, to cast blame and say, no, it was not a fraud. Mistakes were made. Mistakes were made. Now, again, going back to your main point, obviously this is a fraud. We haven't touched bottom yet. We haven't sounded out the depths of how bad it's going to be. It's a fact that they kept such bad records, had such bad regulatory controls that we don't really know. You can tell it's going to happen. I don't rule out arrests being made in the future. Obviously, he's been careful to keep out of U.S. jurisdictions. FTX assets on their U.S. company are so far safe. It's really been the international business that's been impacted. But of course, Bahamas have authorities, they have police as well. I expect that something may be done soon. Perhaps they're waiting to gather the information, which is scattered all over.
Potentially. In the meantime, I'm going to award you Best in Show this week for use of an obscure one-hit wonder, the Verve Pipe and the Freshman. You get big points for that, Michael. I'm very proud of you for that one. But listen. $40 million to the Democrats, $10 billion shifted over to his hedge fund, commingling funds. These are what we call felonies where I grew up. These are things that we call federal prison for a long time felonies where I grew up. I mean, he's in the Bahamas. He's not in Russia, right? He's accessible. And he destroyed people's lives. And he said, well, FTX is a real business, and I'm real sorry this happened. Intent doesn't matter, Michael. The U.S. attorneys don't care about those things, like we heard one of our people say here a moment ago. He did it. He broke the law. They have $16 billion on a spreadsheet? Really?
I think it's going to get worse. We're going to see that there was more. It's astronomical, the scale of the fraud that potentially went on here. If you look at the types of investors, the type of people that they pulled around them, there is something deeper going on here. We've had some understanding of where the donations have gone, where the money has come from. But look, you make the point. Taking customer deposits and using them to shore up losses, that is the big no-no in banking and financial services. Doesn't matter if you're in the U.S., in Russia, or Bahamas. It's bad. It's illegal everywhere. I would like to believe that justice will be served and we'll get to the bottom of this, but you may be right. Perhaps nothing happens given the amount of power, the amount of backing that he appears to have.
And I don't believe for a second, I know that some Democrats gave their money back or gave it to charity or whatever. $40 million went to work for the Democrat Party in the midterm elections. He was second only to George Soros in donations to the Democrat Party. A few Republicans got some money, but nothing like what the Democrats got from this clown. That buys you a lot of immunity, it seems to me, from where I'm standing. And just to be clear on this, Sam Bankman-Fried did not commit suicide, all right? He did not kill himself, just so we get ahead of that story before it happens, because there's a lot of people connected to him. And it just smells to high heaven, doesn't it?
It does. Again, the connections are still coming together. I think we can get in a little bit of dangerous ground by speculating too much, but you are seeing some really extraordinary connections, if they turn out to be true, amongst the most elite parts of the Democratic Party, the operatives within it, Ukraine, other issues, other linkages that are bringing it back around full circle to midterm elections, to everything else. We need a bit more time to suss it out, get to the bottom of it. But from a distance, you can smell it already, and it's not good.
Yeah. Well, I hope we get to the bottom of it soon. I hope this guy's in handcuffs soon. I mean, he stole people's life savings, and people need to pay a price for that. When you go in and take people's life savings, when they're in a position they can no longer rebuild, they can never recover, right? That is criminal. I'll give you the last word.
The last word is the contagion continues. It's hitting within the broader crypto industry. It's hitting outside of the crypto industry now. I spoke to somebody the other day who lost just a restaurant manager who had put a lot of money into a related platform that's now gone belly up as well. So you're right. This is actually hurting a lot of people outside of FTX, outside of the sort of billions of dollars that got funneled in. And there needs to be some accountability here.
Yeah, there you have it. Michael Wilkerson, I appreciate you being here. We're going to watch this one closely, Michael. I'm sure we'll talk about it again. Thank you.
See you soon. Thanks very much.
All right.